Happy birthday to you, Mr. President. Not the intro they wanted. However, it is Tuesday, Podcast Tuesday, and happens to be our birthday.
Woohoo!
We're turning 21.
21.
All
wow,
over
20
again.
was crazy.
Just kidding. We're turning 34. Random twin fact. My mom had a C-section and chose 112288.
Twin numbers, 4 twins. I tell that to every Olive Garden
The
waiter.
Olive Garden waiter was very impressed and did give us a
We
tiramisu.
got 2 tiramisus.
2, yeah.
Tiramisus.
Okay. So, Corey, this is the Baking It Down podcast with Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. What could somebody expect to learn?
Podcast. Well, each week, what we try to do is bring one marketing nugget to you. If you implement it this week, you'll see benefits from it for weeks to come. So there's
Wow, what a sale.
weeks to come. Don't let it work. But we enjoy it. We go over the marketing nuggets. We cover some group stuff. We cover some coursework. We got sponsors. The only reason we got this podcast going.
Thank you, sponsees. Thank you, sponsees. Okay, so jumping into today's topic, you wanted to work a recipe backwards. Actually, you wanted to work sticker price backwards.
The reason why solopreneurs are amazing people. I am one, so that's how I know.
You're a duopreneur, champ. I'm right here.
Sometimes I feel soloish. But a lot of times what happens when someone runs their own business is the lines of profit and time and cost kind of blur together.
I think you get that ecstatic. Okay, when you make a sale,
Yeah.
something about the brain, the dopamine release,
When it
serotonin soaking it up into little white matter, gray matter.
A little bit.
Yeah. So what happens is I think we get so stoked. Trust me, I get stoked. For any sale that we make that we stop paying attention to numerical values that ensure that we're producing a profit. You never want to hear about a business not operating profitably. Maybe overvalued tech can, but cookie cannot. So what Corey's talking about is taking that sales sticker price and accounting for everything necessary to produce the good.
Yeah. So a lot of times what we do is we get comfortable, we get to tiered pricing, which is very common and works great if you know your numbers. The cost of butter is on the rise. Eggs are golden.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people won't account for those fluctuating expenses in their business, and they'll just stick with what they know.
Because we have a little bit of business ownership fear of the raising prices because of the supply and demand curve. It feels so bad. Wait, if it feels so good to get a sale, it feels so bad to lose one.
Maybe 10 times worse.
Right. It's like almost a fear, like, kind of like when the customer is about to go ask the imaginary husband. Then you're like, well, I lost that one. Is it me? Is it my product?
Are they saying they don't want me?
I think they're saying the economy is shifting just a tinge and the price of butter has exceeded my budget, my butter budget.
So what I want to do is, these are all made up numbers, but it's from common numbers I see a lot in the group. But I want to say we had a great discussion in a comment thread that happened, I want to say on Saturday. Someone said, I'm pretty frustrated. I ordered...
Me too, person. Me too.
I ordered new cutters for this order. Didn't charge it to the customer, and now the customer wants to change the theme.
Interesting conundrum.
The reason why she was frustrated is because she didn't include the cost of the new cutters in her order.
People, that cat wants out. He's so tall, and he's so noble, and he's so old. Bye, babe. You have a great... I put the tree up early. Yeah. Cat loves it. He's
Cats
torn.
love trees.
He loves it.
They do.
I think it's a little nature. He feels back to his old...
I feel like they have something above them, so they're like...
Also, I kind of feel like he's like, I'm outside, but I'm inside.
I know.
I'm warm, but I'm also...
This is a plastic thing above me, but it feels tree-like.
Yeah. Also, my body is just right there. I guess your cat turned your tree into a body.
My cat. It's the cutest thing. He's got the tiniest little schnozzy. He's just adorable. A fluff.
He's a weird-looking cat, but he is absolutely the most personable... Yeah. He's not a normal person. He's weird.
Yeah, but he got under my tree. And all my tree matches. It's like that.
I thought it was pretty cute.
Yeah, checkered thing. And he just peed on the little
gingham.
Is it gingham?
I think gingham
the checkered,
is affluent people's checkered.
Oh yeah. So it's gingham. And he just peed on the tree skirt.
Well,
There was
you
no
got to go.
washing
You
of
got
trees.
to go.
So you know those ones you can get those metal like barricades.
It was a barricade.
So
How do you
no
know he's not
cats
going
under
to
the
tinkle
tree.
winkle on that?
You can't. You fall right off it straight up.
Back to money that pays for copious tree skirts.
True.
So you're going to see, and I think this is a fair opinion to have, is that some people will charge custom cutters to the client. Some people won't, in the argument that they'll use this cutter again.
Yeah. The thing is, me and Heather are 100%. You to start up a business, it's going to cost you something.
Startup costs, yeah.
It's startup cost.
Investments.
And startup cost are normal for
Corey
whatever
and I
business.
once put $1,000 down each, and we were like, "Well, let's
Make it work.
Let's see if this works."
You know, like the guy in Project Runway when he's like,
Make it work.
That's what we do. But startup costs are something that every business runs into. But
Apparently, I need the
eventually-
Nancy cutter.
eventually, you can't call everything a startup cost
Right.
when you've been in business.
It's got to
for 5
kind of be
years.
self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You can't be operating at a loss. Now, I'm going to pitch, and it will work back
Sure.
the thing. You could charge. Here's how I'd mix it. I give a little bit of both for
Okay.
a custom cutter.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like, "Hey, here's my wedding invite, and I want this flower as a
Yes.
cutter," I would charge 100% of that cutter to them. It's
I would have done
100%
that.
made
Yes.
for them.
I'll never use that again.
Every other outside of that very specific thing for cutters that can be used in possibly more than one, I would include that in my indirect costs. So every order actually pays into this cutter fund.
I think that's 100% great.
Right.
When I'm talking to a customer, I say, what cookies in the set are your must-haves?
Well, that's a solid
Before
question.
I price them out, because if they're including a cutter that I don't have,
Must
it's
have
a
me-
must-have.
right.
That I got.
Do you tell them that? Do you
that-
tell them that the
No,
price of the cutter?
They're not on that side of my business. They're not rolling and cutting dough with me.
Right. If you did, I'd almost assume that they'd change their scope.
But I say sometimes.
But they were
if
fine
they're
with the package price.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's what I wanted to just talk about. A lot of times I see this price. It's pretty common, $42 a dozen.
Okay.
Some people are above. Some people are below.
Just work
It's a
on
medium.
industry average,
Yeah.
right?
So let's say Heather wants 2 dozen cookies.
Okay, I'm going to pull up an Excel spreadsheet and type these in.
All right. So Heather wants 2 dozen, $42 a dozen. That makes us at $84.
Why
for
do
this
I need
order.
these cookies? What am I doing with my life
You're
right now?
buying. It's a birthday gift for me.
Oh, okay. So half go to you and half go to me. So we're going to do 2 dozen at what, 42?
$42, making it $84.
Okay.
Now, a lot of times, solopreneurs will, for some odd reason, combine hourly wage and profits.
We don't want to do that because you've got to act like
You've got
you're
to act like there's
boss
three-
Heather
Yep.
and employee Heather. If boss Heather,
Yeah.
if let's pretend you worked in a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's pretend the owner comes and says, "Well, Heather, thank you so much. We're not going to pay you, but you've paid into the profitability of the company. Thank you so much. The profit margins are solid. However, you did work for free.
Yeah. That's
You
how
would
I-
immediately quit.
You would quit. That's how I think of it. There's Corey, my employee, and there's me.
You
the
got to
business
respect
owner.
both.
If you're listening to this podcast and you worked for me and you baked cookies for me and I said, "Hey, business was a little tight this week. I'm going to need to take $10 from you to help me keep the lights on here." Yeah, absolutely not. I worked for those $10. I have my own family to feed.
But that's what a lot of bakers are treating themselves.
Yes,
You're your
because-
worst boss.
Because you feel like it's still coming to
Right.
you.
It's all going into my pocket, so it must be profit. However, no, it's a part of your cost. Your labor cost, your ingredients cost, build into that sales price.
Yes.
Okay, so then like, okay, labor and ingredients, great. Then I'm going to do that. No, you were still not profitable yet. We did pay for your labor.
Let's
That's your
just say
time.
for the labor.
Okay.
You want to make $10 an hour, and this 2 dozen order is going to take us 5 hours. That's
Yikers.
$50.
Right?
Okay, people are like, I can do it faster than that. No, you going to the store to find the ingredients, standing in the long Target checkout line,
Okay.
you making the dough, you cutting the dough, and you icing those cookies. That every single second of that is going into the price of this.
Yeah, keep in mind, they'll always see this question like, I'm new, it takes me longer, so do I make more hourly? No, you actually have a lower hourly rate. If it takes you longer, because that's where your skills come in. So I know we always like, don't charge according to your skills. you charge labor according to your skill. So if you work really fast, but you're very good, we're going to have a higher hourly rate. Just like somebody who's very good at what people,
like hair people.
Oh yeah, like somebody who's very good at balayage. And they do it fast and they do it well. They're going to have a higher hourly rate. Let's say somebody's just there's the Paul Mitchell School at Tyson's.
There is.
It's where people are learning to get into hair care.
Yeah.
No, hair cutting.
Yeah.
So you can go there for a big discount. They take longer. So they're not going to charge you more because they take longer. They're going to charge you less because their hourly rate is less. They don't have the skill developed.
Yeah.
So that's how. So like if you're like, well, I'm kind of new, your hourly rate's going to be less than Corey said, $10 an hour. Let's say $7.50. The minimum wage is set by a state, but you can charge less or more depending on how you want to value your time. It is your personal decision, but it cannot be zero.
It cannot
be zero.
The thing is, you can work at not a profit and slowly die. You can throw, like we did, $2,000 in the bank and slowly dwindle it away until you have nothing.
Right.
So you won't be a failure today. You'll be a failure in like 2 months from now.
If you don't account for labor, but you're accounting for profit, technically you're losing on your labor costs and you're slowly closing.
You are slowly.
Congratulations. You're making very slow sales towards a closed door.
Right.
Okay, so we have our overall cost is $84. We have an hourly rate of $10 an hour, working 5 hours, so 50. So we have a remainder of 30. I guess these are made up numbers, but
made up numbers. So let's just say, just for the ease of math, that to make the ingredients to make these 2 dozen cookies. The ingredients cost, so the vanilla bean paste, extract, cost of butter on the rise, flour and eggs, is 50 cents a cookie. We have 24 cookies, $12.
Okay. Are you doing this math in your head? You do it already?
I did already.
Good. Because like, whoa. I gotta recite this fast. So, 34 minus 6. We're now working with a remaining $28 to allocate for indirect and profit.
So what is profit of the percentage that people aim towards?
Recommended. Okay, because everyone's always like, what's the number I need to charge? It's between 15 and 20%. Again, that if you're in a growth phase, you may have lower profitability. It is all fluctuation. But if you want a target, 20%.
So what's 20% of what we're working with?
People are like doing this in math. If you're doing this in math in your head, I don't want to hear for you. 1680 is 20% off of $84.
Okay, so now what's our leftover here
for my indirect?
Profit? Yeah.
Hold on. We're looking at $11.20. Would that cover? So these are my indirect costs. Now people ask,
we're not even done with our ingredients. We haven't done packaging yet, which is going to come out of this before we even get to our indirect costs.
One box to fit a dozen, 2 dozen. What are we looking at?
My box is $1.
$1
for those Target ones, but those are not the branded ones you got me. Just so you know.
Yeah, those are $3.40. Okay, so if we cover packaging at just $1, which seems low.
Okay,
but also seems healthy.
The heat sealed bags are 6 cents that I use, so 24 of them is $1.44.
6 cents. Goodness, the heat sealed bags. No, they're worth heat. I was using those things like they were free.
Yeah, you can't. No, I bought off Amazon. I did the math when I came.
Okay,
but you can buy in bulk though. Shred A to cover the bottom of the box. If I say the average shred thing I buy is $2.99 and you need half of it, what's half of $2.99?
It goes something like $2. Okay, it's $1.495, so $1.50.
Okay, so now what are we at with our extras?
We have a remaining budget of our cost to $7.31.
$7.31. Now,
so I've heard that indirect cost can be around 0.15 if we want to be healthy. So we're already operating at a negative for that. So maybe we adjust that down to 0.10. Maybe adjust that down 0.07. Let's do 0.07. See if we can still. Okay, we can come that up to point.
What is 0.8? What's that total?
We have, if we want to allocate 9% for indirect costs, we're still at a negative, but we're just a couple pennies away from each other.
So what is 9% of that?
$7 of $84 is $7.56.
So $7.50. What is indirect costs? Now this is where people who work
26-cent loss, but we can take that from our profit if we wanted to be less profitable.
If you want to be less profitable, but what comes out of profits? What are things that we come out of?
We can do a lot with profits. But let's go back to indirects.
Sure, because
indirect costs are this ambiguous thing that covers the cost of electricity from turning on your oven.
Yeah. Gas to get to the store to buy your ingredients.
The gas to get to your store. Indirect costs are insurance. state registration fees, this kind of ambiguous thing. So every sale you make has to pay the Pied Piper of indirect costs, because otherwise you're not counting how the electricity to turn on stuff.
You're going to be borrowing from that employee's $50 an hour. You're going to be like, I need a little bit of cash.
You can see how the umbrella is important, that the umbrella covers 100% of the things. Otherwise, you're secretly stealing from yourself. Secretly stealing from your business. And you don't want to mix business and pleasure. We don't want to have our business account and our personal accounts grabbing from the same kaffa.
I will say that's probably what made me and Heather really true to what our costs were, that we only have used business accounts.
Because I'm horrified by tax day. I am literally, I get sweaty, panicky, maybe hives on a good day.
I hate when our accountant calls and is like, I saw this charge here.
It's so funny. We got, Corey used a company card to get fuel at a Wawa's. And of course, it had a card skimmer there. And I never check the work phone that's tied to the text. And I said, this is when you question your business partner, right? So Corey is my twin. But it was like, your charge at Dress Lily has been approved. Your charge at Chick-fil-A has been approved. Your charge at Jersey Mike's has been approved. But they were coming in so fast. Your charge at Best Buy has been approved. And I was like, well, Corey's, she snapped and she's stealing from the company. And I don't. So how am I supposed to tell Corey? I texted you. Hey, I said, hey, are you buying dresses? And am I invited? And Corey's like, no, I didn't buy a dress. Anyway, so we ended up canceling the card, filing the fraud claim, forgetting to tell the accountant about it. So she calls Corey and she's like, okay, I guess you got married and charged it all the company card. So we're going to have to, I said, oh my goodness, we were hacked.
She bought a wedding dress.
I was like, no, you're invited.
I've eloped twice. I ain't no wedding dresses.
So we want to cover it back to our costs. We want to make sure that umbrella covers everything. Now with profit. Profit's where we can have a little, that's where the business owner can take dividends or whatever. That's where you can invest into that Eddie fund out of your profits.
Yes.
That's where you can fund marketing campaigns, or you can take that out of your indirect costs, whatever you guys want to do.
But you also have to think the wear and tear of your KitchenAid mixer. It's going to eventually break down. Where's that money?
I don't know. Someone said, I'll buy a Bosch when KitchenAid breaks down. I said, well, it looks like you're never going to buy a Bosch. And those things keep going.
They do. They do.
There's this guy on TikTok that fixes KitchenAids. Yeah, I know.
Actually,
but it looks like
do want to teach a thing, and we couldn't make it work.
Oh, why?
I don't know. He never responded.
Oh, okay, fair. That's why. Sounds like me and Munbin not being able to make it work. But yeah, when we look at the breakdown of costs, so then we have the whole thing. So if I have right now, I'm working for our fake pricing. I'm working in negative 26 cents. So I'd have to either charge a lower hourly rate, meaning I'm making less, or I'd have to lessen my profitability, which I could. That gives me, we want to be as profitable as possible. Right. But I have an aggressive profitability at 20%. I could lower that down to 15% and allow me to pay back into my indirect. We can't operate at a negative. That's what I'm saying is you have to move around the numbers, but we have to come at kind of like a net zero.
Right. You want to, that's probably the goal.
Right. So when you have an order come in that has a custom cutter, now, okay, give me a vibe. If I'm not printing your cutters, what are they costing? You're not paying me. So pretend you pay somebody.
Between $5 and $6
for custom
for
and
a custom
shipped?
Cutter, not shipped.
Okay. Give me shipped.
It depends. So then I'm not ever going to just ship one.
Oh, you crazy person.
No, like,
pretend it's one. Pretend it's one.
$4.50.
So we're at $12-ish for this guy?
Let's just say 10 for the sake of the argument.
Now you can start seeing why people are buying 3D printers, because at $10 for a single cutter, this printer in front of me, this Ender 3, not recommending it. I do have it. It does work if you are willing to be patient. That whole thing costs $100 right now.
$100.
So for 10 custom cookie cutters.
How much does a cookie cutter technically cost to make?
I think it may be Sam from Sam's Cookie University said it was around 32 cents. I'm not sure where I saw that. It was on some 3D. Yeah. Okay. So 32 cents. Now you see, well, if I print my own cutters, then I have a much larger margin to work with, or I can pass that cost on of the custom cutter to the client.
Here's the thing. To make your own cutter, there's time involved.
There's also,
but you can buy the STL file now. You're saving it's probably $250 now.
No, this is a custom wedding invite recreate this flower cutter.
Oh, so you're just doing it from the brain
straight
cells. So how
straight
long
custom.
When I say make me a custom cutter, how long does it take you?
Well, I gotta say, if you have Sam's Bella thing, the Bella plugin, it's 2 seconds. I mean, but there's still the learning curve, the knowledge curve, the time curve.
And
so I'm
Bella
not charging you anything.
Money as well.
I think it's $100, and then you can have the commercial license too. So I don't know the licensure behind it. But if I build mine my chintzy way that doesn't really look good, but it cuts down, man. I would say that could take me up to 5 to 10 minutes to create, but 3 hours. Nobody judge my Cura settings, my slicer settings. 3 hours to print.
Time, man.
Time.
And
So I'm not going to charge time. I'm not paying
You're not
him,
sitting there looking at
Mr.
it.
Ender, how much is your hourly rate? But taking those costs in-house, outside of the electricity and the cost of any software, we can definitely lessen the cost. But back to the argument that if you don't want to learn Ender 3 Pro, Fusion 360, and the slicer program,
you're ordering a cutter.
You're ordering a cutter at $10. Now, if we're working at a margin, so I can take from my profit is $16.80.
Okay, $16 is not a lot.
No, but if I say I'm not charging the client, I'll take the hit. My profit is only $6.80 because I spent $10 on the
But
cutter.
here's the argument that they will say, you'll use that cutter again, though.
I would say
agree.
it's case by case basis.
I think no one has ever asked me for a farm set of cookies. I think one person asked, I said, I own 0 of those cutters. And I wasn't willing to buy 6 of them for an order. I was going to make $0 negative dollars.
But you could pass the cost on to them. Or I'd like to say, then you have the problem. Okay, I'm not going to absorb this cost. I need a profitable company. If you know your numbers, you can say, well, here's how much flexibility I have. Customer, I'm going to have to charge you $120 for this order. Or I'm going to charge you $80. We're working off of 42 a dozen. Or 42 a dozen or 2 dozen?
42 a dozen.
42 a dozen. I'm going to have to add $30 additional for something you'll never get.
I know.
The cookie cutters.
So someone said in the comments, I don't think it's fair that you charge them for the custom cutter and don't offer to give them that cutter.
That would be weird. But I get it. It'd also be fair. Here's what I would recommend. Avoid custom cutters at all cost. Find the workaround. Take those plaques.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My issue, and I think I went about it the wrong way when I started, is I like cookies to fit on the shapes that fit on them. And I think it's because I think they're cute, but I'm also, you have to do a base layer on plaques and then the image on top of that.
Also, more ingredients
cost.
More time cost.
Yeah.
Your dehydrator's not charging you a lot.
More curators. So that's why I like when cutters fit the actual objects versus using plaque cutters. But plaque cutters are smarter.
Plaque cutters are business savvy.
They are business
That's
savvy.
why everyone has Nancy. Who makes the Nancy cutter?
Kalita cuts. Kalita cuts? How do you say it? Kalita cuts?
Somebody tell us. Corey's been saying Kalita this whole time.
I think so.
I think it's Kalita.
Kalita.
Kaleidoscope.
Her name's Heather.
Oh, hello, Heather. So yeah, a lot of people use the Nancy cutter. I took a poll in the group. Well, it wasn't a poll; it was a picture poll. If you could only use one cutter again, what would it be? And 90% of people said the Nancy one because it's so flexible and allows them to accommodate the things people were changing this cookie cutter into.
Oh,
fascinating!
They were cutting an elf in half and making it a nameplate elf.
But that's such a savvy business approach to flip these cutters. Cutter flipping is such a genius thing.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when someone orders from me and they have an inspiration picture, I'll be like, what in this photo is something you're wanting to see? And they'll circle 4 of them. And I'll be like, I have 3 of those cutters. If you're willing to let the other one go, I can make it.
That's a nice approach, letting the client have a say in it so that they get, if you said I can do 75% of what you want, the best possible and reduce cost. If you had told me that, I'd tell you absolutely.
Another issue I run into is I'll mess up at least 1 or 2 cookies in an order that are not allotted for in this price.
You need to factor it in there. Otherwise, you could possibly be risking, well, you're definitely risking your profits.
From my profits to fix those 2 things.
Yeah, if you're not, indirect costs also cover software subscription. Like we use QuickBooks, which has a yearly fee. Yeah. And, I use some applications.
My job form, I get that bill.
Job
the
form.
Gmail thing, I get that bill.
These are all, so your indirect costs, every sale should have indirect costs built in. Otherwise, you're not going to account for the cost of that. Now, one app I really like, the guy, his name is Ben, with YNAB, You Need a Budget, allows you to see where your money's going, but also build a budget towards these larger purchases like Eddie.
And those weird software costs that are almost like, dare I say, you don't see them. So sometimes
death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes, that's exactly
so
what it is.
I use YNAB in my personal life. I was going to build it out for the business, but I'll work on that later. I don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel like crying a little bit.
Yeah.
The solution to this is charge a price high enough that ensures profitability.
Yeah.
So I'll say that I'm not sure you would have to sit down and really go through your cookie pricing, which fluctuates a lot because of the cost of ingredients. That's a big thing. If the cost of butter, which it must have spiked, again, I'm not the baking twin, but it must have gone up enough that I saw a ton of posts, maybe in the last 2 months, but they've simmered a bit.
Typically, the brand that I buy is $3.79.
Give me this. Okay.
Now it is $6.02.
Wow. 379 to 602. So just maybe a 40% roughly increase. That's so Corey should not eat those costs.
The thing
This is why, let me just bring it back to economics. This is why inflation is so dangerous. Because if inflation goes unchecked, Corey has the butter people have to raise their prices because the cost of raising cows or whatever has increased. So they pass that cost on to Corey because they're not taking the hit. They're not leaving the price of butter at what did you say, 76?
379.
379. So they're not going to say, well, we're going to make less profit and let Corey just buy butter at 379. No, they're going to be like, hey, that's now
602.
It's now 602. Corey turns around, buys the butter. Should Corey take the hit? If the cows didn't take the hit, if the butter processor didn't take the hit, if Giant didn't take the hit, Giant's a grocery store, should Corey now take the hit? No, but a lot of us think, well, that'd be so rude of us to charge our audience. Plus, maybe they won't even buy. Welcome to the dangers of inflation. Now, what happens is Corey increases her price because her ingredients costs have gone up. Yeah. Now she could make less in profit if she wants to make the sale, but okay, risky race to the bottom there. So we turn over and we say, hey, consumer, you now have to pay me more for the same thing. Your dollar is less valuable. Yeah. And then that's why we see the Feds raising the interest rate, which will counteract inflation because it forces the value of a dollar to increase, but it also forces it at the expense of our fund money.
Yeah.
That's where you see. So Walmart posted record earnings this past month because the middle class has turned around and said, well, we got to save some money, honey. We're going to go to Walmart, buy Target.
The thing is, as a business owner, the fixed costs have to pass through you. You have to pass that along.
You shouldn't die on that hill.
Huh?
You should not die on that hill.
No, and you'll be like, no,
but people are going to say they'll not buy from
It's a luxury item. They shouldn't be buying it anyway.
That was an interesting thing about this. Okay, whether we're in a recession or not, 2 periods of an economic downturn or gross GDP, whatever. So what happens is they said this is very unique in that the middle class, the upper middle class has still maintained treating themselves. Treat yourself, they have taken literally. And those people are not cutting fun costs, the little splurges. They are cutting travel costs. They're cutting other costs.
No, that's why I think as bakers, we still have tons of orders coming in.
That's why you need to market towards that audience, middle class. That's going to be middle to upper class. It's going to be a luxury branding. They still want the boxes. They still want the shred.
Yeah, they want to show up to these parties. They can afford it.
So now look, if we ever are targeting off, if we go to lower middle class or upper lower class, we might fall prey to running the race to the bottom. These people are already looking at cost-cutting measures. That's a natural, sustainable thing to do. And you're trying to sell a luxury item? Buddy, you're already on the chopping block.
Yeah.
So what happens, but that's not fair. No. The market, the economy, it'll find them something. You may not be it.
Yeah.
And your margins, your numbers will dictate whether you can even compete in that space.
But I think a lot of times when we don't know our numbers, we second guess our pricing because we don't know what it actually truly cost us to make this dozen. So we're willing to have someone say, I don't think I can afford $42 a dozen. Can you do it for $36?
Dangerous.
In our minds, we're like, maybe I'm only a $36 a dozen baker.
This one time I sold this weird car I had. It was like, well, if you want to judge me, what was it thing? The 3-wheel thing?
Oh, gosh darn it.
Oh, come on. A player slingshot.
Yeah. Slingshot.
Bought it, shouldn't have had it.
Hear what she says.
Slingshot. Wanted to sell it. I bought it. Every stupid thing you could do. Bought it off the lot, brand new, no miles a minute. The front tire hit the gravel.
They were so spanking new that Heather couldn't even
get
the price down. She had to pay what they were asking.
He laughed.
Yeah, when she said,
he respectfully chuckled. Anyways, I had it I think I only kept it for 9 months. Again, do as I say, not as I do. Yes. And I wanted to sell it. I owed on it. I financed it. Again, stupid 20s. We all learned. These lessons have been learned.
I enjoyed it because I didn't have to pay $1 towards it.
I was stressed the whole time, white knuckling everything. The thing was a warranty issue waiting to happen. So anyways, I owed on it. So the minimum price I could be offered, I wasn't going to be underwater on it. So when anybody said, hey, I'll offer you this less than I'm asking, absolutely. Hardcore, no. I know my number. The bank knows my number.
Yeah.
We know our number. And you cannot offer me less than I owe, and I will not be underwater on this car. So it was very easy for me to say no because I knew the number.
And I also think you had something tangible. I think when our artists are making things with their hands, we are like
my skills. I can skimp on my skills.
Out of it because we're like, but I'm questioning my own worth.
Right. Right. You got to know your number, and you got to have the confidence that Navy Federal had in telling me what that slingshot was now, what I owed on it, right?
When a customer emails me, they will be paying $70 plus. I will not accept less than $70.
Because that's your minimum number to produce a profitable business.
Yeah.
You do not want to be a business operating unprofitably. So not profit, right? Let's say we're operating at a margin. You are a profit business.
You're a for-profit business.
Yeah, you are not a nonprofit. You're paying tax. You cannot compete with them, right? That is not who you are. It is not what you even can be. Mm-hmm. You have to break up with the thought of being what you deem as fair for a luxury good you're charging.
Yeah. What I know we've said before, if it costs you money, you have a hobby. If you make money, you are a business. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when people get into the baking business side of it, they started off as a hobby.
Well, yeah, we all get there and we say, well, this isn't working. This is costing me a fortune.
And then you move into the business side, but then we don't know our numbers because this all started off as fun and games. Now I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should be charging. This person down the road is charging this much, but this person's charging this much. Should I be in the middle? They're better than me. It doesn't. While your skills, and Heather said, come in the time version. If someone's willing to buy, I will buy a Panera cookie every single day of the week. It's not the prettiest thing, but gosh darn, is it tasty.
Oh, they're delicious.
So good.
Disgustingly good.
And I'll buy it. For the price, I think it's $3.79.
Right? Something like that.
Maybe $3. Maybe $2.79.
Inflation.
Yeah, something like that.
We haven't been in a bit.
I'm not even looking at my bill. I'm just saying add that to it, please.
I want it.
It comes down to knowing your costs to be profitable.
Now, here's something you can do. Again, me buying things with engines, not good. But I did buy that Ducati, a motorcycle, right? Uh-huh. I want to sell it. Wasn't going to be underwater, and that I can guarantee you. I think it was financed, but however, I had paid. Motorcycles are pretty inexpensive and compared to cars, but I knew that I had a minimum number that I had to pay off to the bank. Mm-hmm. Again, my 20s, wild years.
Yeah.
But what I knew is that I wanted to still be in line with my market, even if that meant I was going to sell the bike at a higher price than what I owed on it. Right? So you can do that.
Yeah.
But you have to know the minimum price required. To where, that's why we always tell people are like, oh, somebody entered my market. They're charging half my prices. Blinders, man. You can't even compete. You cannot.
You will not. You cannot afford to charge half your prices.
And guess what? They can't afford to either. So I don't want to ever make fun of people. I hope that they find this group and listen to this podcast and say, yikers, I don't want to look in the mirror of my numbers, but I have to. Typically what we see is that people realize eventually that they're operating at a net loss and they'll find this group.
Yes. That's my prayer. And then we can bring them back.
Because you guys, Corey and I are very business centric, less, sorry, no offense, artistry.
Hey, no, sorry.
So you got to work profitably. Even, that's why I say more complicated sets, you're taking more hours to produce the same amount. Yeah. Maybe unicorns are your guy. Yeah. Maybe that's your seller.
If you are doing the most complex set and it takes you 13 hours to do and you're charging what people would be like, they charge $90 for this dozen.
Well, let's say you do 13 hours. Your hourly rate for this thing was $10.
Yeah.
So, we're working at $130. That's just in labor.
That's just
so
time.
You could turn, and if your audience understands that, you could say, okay, my labor costs are $130, my indirect cost, my profitability, and then my ingredients is maybe going to put you, just ballpark it here, I assume at that kind of intricacy, you have a lot of tools as well, a lot of ingredients, sure. A lot of methods. You could be looking at maybe a $200 set.
Yeah, a $200 set. But you're not like pocketing $200. Like, I'm making so much money. No, there's time.
You're still working off percentages.
Yeah. The time that you're taking on that set, you are not taking other sets. That time is now.
So you have to charge this exorbitant rate. And then you turn around and you say, hey, audience, let's say you've got a really dialed in upper middle class audience. Yeah. Okay. Or like lower upper class, right? You could say, hey, this is going to make you belle of the literal ball. Yes. Then they might say, hey, $200 is a drop in the bucket. $200 is what I pay from somebody to pick up my dog's poop. Yeah. And then that seems like an unfair comparison, but $200 is going to be nothing. Yeah. But you're going to have that targeting super, super dialed in.
Yeah. when typically we're working with people who are like, yeah, I'm not trying to spend
a ton. My kid really wanted
it's
that.
birthday party favors.
And now
like
you see
that.
why audience targeting, your target audience, is so important in relation to your price, depending on how complicated you want these sets to be.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say, hey, middle class is where it's at, which is I think where you're targeting,
Yeah.
you're going to say these people want unicorns for kids. They want to have the cutest gift at the party, but they're also not going to be at a party that's on Le Chateau. They're
not.
something, They're going to be at the they step up from a Chuck E. Cheese, and they're, it's going to be that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So that's why audience targeting and your product offering have to be really dialed in. When you watch a Toyota commercial, there are kids in the back of that car.
Yeah.
When you watch a Mercedes commercial,
Not
it is like a cute couple driving.
Yeah.
So you can see what they're saying is like affluent, not saying that people with kids don't have Mercedes or whatever. I don't have kids and I don't have a Mercedes, but that audience targeting is, hey, luxury, stress-free. This car will make you happier. Whereas Toyota is like, hey, stress-free. This car will help you store your kids' toys in the back.
And you might say to me and Heather, I don't like doing unicorns. That's fine. But you are going to have to fine-tune your audience to those La Chambre people who are willing to have wine with their cookies.
Yeah, frankly, yeah, and that's all comes down to really savvy marketing, and that comes down to when I think of higher end things. There's this guy on TikTok. He'll tell you the cheapest thing you can buy from extremely high end stores like Chanel.
Okay.
And he'll be like, I got a deodorant, and they sell this deodorant, but it comes with all the accoutrement, something, all this packaging, that luxury packaging. He's like, look, I got, the dust bag with, Louis Vuitton on it, but all I bought was this perfume. So you can see that you're going to have to up your packaging game if you really want to appeal to that audience as well, where money is less of an object and it's more of an experience that they're looking for.
But it comes down to knowing your numbers. Can you afford to buy 5 custom cutters for a set? Can you? It's
you
not
could,
a yes or
you
no.
could if your numbers tell you can.
Yes.
You can't feel bad. There's not a lot of room for emotions in business. Math hates tears.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you can only cry with math, but if your math problem, your unique math problem is going to deal with your unique ingredients. If you are using what people use cream cheese or something,
Some people do.
that's going to increase their ingredients cost. Now they have less profitability. Are they going to have to charge a lower hourly rate or increase their asking price? That's going to be unique to you. I find a very dangerous question, not an evil question, not a bad question. A dangerous question is, what is everyone charging for this?
Yeah.
It's going to be very unique to their area, their packaging, their target audience, their branding, and their ingredients cost, and their skill level.
Yeah, for sure. And what other people don't take, when I see those, what is everyone charging for this? One, did they bundle buy at Miss Cookie Packaging and spread that shipping cost over a bunch of products, or did they, like you, buy just the bags of coals? And now that shipping is then translated into each one of those sales.
Which shipping would kind of be like indirect.
It is. And like your Americolor gels, the Nifty 50 ain't free, my friends. But that's something a lot of times we buy it and we forget that cost because it was a lot up front, maybe like $150 if we said for the Heavenly 70 set. But that cost now translates. Every little bit of profit of every sale comes to pay that. I'd
even throw this out there. If you're teaching cookie classes, it's fun to create a to-go bag.
Yeah.
The thought is there, and I really like the concept of it. You're creating a better experience. You're giving them something. But think about how much that you can teach the whole class without a goodie bag. I can guarantee it. And if you create that goodie bag, which feels like you need to fill it up to make it look valuable, you're taking from your profits.
You're taking from your profits. Can you afford to take from your profits? When I make we don't do goodie bags. I make a mini cookie
of the next class
to use for marketing. Like, hey, you see the cute little ghost. Our next class is a Halloween class. Please
so if you're
us.
saying what you ballpark the cost of cookies, maybe 30 cents, but these are minis, so we're gonna say 20.
Right,
cents,
and like a ghost with 2 eyeballs.
Yeah, it was very low thing, and then apparently these extremely valuable heat sealed bags, which they all get, and a little ribbon.
Yeah, a little ribbon.
Okay, so that we have. Oh, I told someone I was gonna sneak this on the podcast, just in case. There you go. I did it. Just in case. So you have your heat seal. That's very small cost. So we're looking at maybe $1.70.
Just say $1.70 for that. And
so if I have a class of 10, I'm looking at
you're roughly under
$17.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should stop doing it.
You should. And then what I also do is sometimes if I can find cutters on clearance.
Nice.
The cutter has to be under, I try to make it under 60 cents.
Well, buddy, we're going to need to chop them costs. But however, Corey and I charge quite a high price. Here's another dangerous thing. A lot of people say, what are you guys charging for classes? Corey and I teach classes together. That means our profit is split, much like everything else in life, including my birthday. So I tell people $75 per ticket, but 2 people are teaching it. I want to include that because we have 2 hourly employees.
We do. But the place that we teach at is free. So
we can we can fudge the numbers to still be profitable. But that number, that overall ticket price has to be pretty high. So we don't have to be working at, this is where the phrase razor thin margins. That means where
you can't mess up.
You can't mess up. No, everyone has to show up. There's no credit. And when you are operating at razor thin margins, somebody canceling is going to destroy you. Yeah, and you won't have that flexibility to be able to offer them a credit or to not tunnel on the fact that you need their money.
Yeah.
That's why I always say indirect costs should start funding an emergency fund.
Yeah.
That's going to, but once the emergency fund is funded, I know we say minimum 1,000. I would honestly suggest it to be around 5,000. 5,000 is going to buy you some time.
It's going to take some time to get there.
Yeah, but the best time to plant trees 30 years ago. Second best time is today. So if you're waiting until next year to start an emergency fund, you're not giving yourself enough runway.
Yeah.
The longer amount of time you can have to build an emergency fund, the less the cost will be monthly.
Yeah, and the more customers you take on, the more you have to fund that because you have happy customers paying into it, and then maybe next year you have.
What do we say? Like add an additional quarter to every order.
Yeah, Heather did that math, and it was like.
Let's say what we want, like an emergency fund of 1,000.
But you can say that, but like if you went to do. Can't do the math.
You need 4,000 orders with a quota.
Okay.
So let's say we add an extra, if you needed an extra $1, let's say we add an extra $2. So if we're charging 42, we charge $44. Okay. We would need to take 500 orders to get a $1,000 emergency fund.
So doable.
After that, you free up $2 additional you can pass on as a discount or start funding your Eddie fund.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like operating at razor thin margins. Now, when the economy goes through squeezes like this, you're going to see people buy fewer things and you're going to panic. And you're going to want to run to that number and lower it.
You're going to be like, I got to lower my prices. I'm not making the sales.
What I would suggest is do not compete on price. It'll be a race to the bottom for you and many bakers also doing that panic adjustment.
Yeah.
Instead, better marketing. Their audience is there. They just need to be found.
Sometimes I don't always like doing custom orders because it does take me quite a long time to decorate.
No, hurry it up.
What I do love to do, PYOs.
Okay.
Take me no time.
I saw you busting out some PYOs.
PYOs. You're a PIA. Just kidding.
This is a safe space.
But I charge $8 for a PYO. $8.
That's insane.
$8.
So a PIA cookie, a PYO cookie is 4 inches, 4.5.
Mine is 4 inches that I do.
Okay, if we're saying, what would you say the cost? You say the cost of cookie be 30 and 50 cents. 30 to 50 cents. It's going to depend on size, really.
Right, for sure.
So let's say 50 cents. Well, then we have after ingredients cost, but the labor is really low on this. It's white and this
thing going,
right? But you have paintbrush and paint palette cost,
True.
so that's going to be unique. And then you have typically PYOs are sold as individuals. And how many do you see a client ordering at any time? 2, 1?
It depends. For parties, they'll order 10 to 12.
That'd be nice. Get that party because then your marketing cost is spread to one person. If I had to sell, I know we're just all over the map with pricing here, but you can see where these numbers can be fudged and moved and shuffled around. But if I had to sell 10 cookies to one person, it's going to cost me less and in packaging than selling 10 cookies to 10 people.
Yeah.
So you can see like these... In a way, bulk ordering that's where you can start offering kind of and I don't want to talk about discounts. It's a very strong thing. You can only do discount pricing manipulation if you have margin
to work with. Yes.
Yeah. At no point can your profit, at no point do you want your profit. You can do whatever you want. It's your business. Drive it into the ground if you want to. At no point should your profit be 0% unless that was intentional. Yeah. Unless you said, I'm doing this to cover my costs, donate this to charity or some kind of thing like that.
But even then, in my heart, I'm like, there should be marketing being done in that process so I don't be like, this is a total
strategic giving is what they call it, is when you do a charitable donation with the payback that you'll be able to market effectively through them. In which case, it is another pricing marketing strategy. But it has to be, and I love this word, intentional. You must have done it with intention. You must not have done it because you felt an exterior pressure on pricing or something like that. I would say if somebody says no to your number, your sales ticket number, it is because you have not increased the value proposition enough for them to part with their money.
Yeah.
So to say, well, instead of increasing my value proposition, I'm going to ask for less. That's not marketing.
That is not.
No, it's not strategic marketing. In a way, you could make the sale, but and if you're still operating at a profit, okay, cool, that's fine. That's a discount now.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is increase the value. Hey, listen, Corey, if you buy these cookies for that mother-in-law that's never liked you, she will love you. Yeah. You will be the apple of her eye. She will never talk to her own son again. You will be her adopted daughter-in-law. And that, if you can create that kind of vibe in a different, unique way, that's where you're going to be able to take their monny.
Another thing, this is just going a little tangent-y, but me and Heather were talking about it.
This whole pod is a tangent.
I know. A few times in the group, we always will have new bakers entering the market.
And thank you guys for joining.
Yeah. And new bakers mean that the industry is viable.
Is that a weird way you said that? Industry?
I did stumble on that.
The Chateau La Industrie.
La Industrie. Will enter the market. Someone said, local baker to me entered the market. She's charging $24 a dozen. I can't keep up with that. Should I lower my price? Yeah, otherwise, no one's going to order from me.
You don't need to worry about her. Market will. The market will grab her and will hug her.
Here's the thing.
It will buy too much of her.
She will fill up with orders.
Yeah.
She will.
And it will make you think, oh no.
$24 a dozen.
Panic will ensue because you're like, those are my orders.
I should be making those. But she's charging $24. Do I need to lower from $42 to maybe $30?
You're still not competing at $24.
No, you're still not.
You're still a surcharge.
Here's the thing. The lady charging $24 is going to book out. But look down. She has the same two hands that you have.
That's the most beautiful thing.
So many hours in the day.
Right.
She's going to fill up.
Well, we know she can't hire help because she's at a razor thin margin or a negative margin.
Yeah. So what she's going to do
you don't have to, the market will handle her by giving her every order ever. Awesome. Great. But she's going to need to raise her price because she's going to say, I'm operating at a loss. At the end of the day,
she's going to burn out and say, I can't do this anymore.
Or raise the price, which we hope. I like to raise the price and not the negative answer.
I like that.
We want people to be profitable and live the lives they've always wanted, doing the work that they love.
But don't look at someone and be like, they're charging less, so I need to charge less. You cannot afford to.
They're charging less, so I need to market better. Yeah. That should be the ultimate goal.
I don't want the person who wants to pay $24 a dozen and be super picky on every single set.
I would say, though, keep your brand so far away from negativity. Don't say, I charge more because my ingredients are better. Likely you two are using the same ingredients. Likely you guys are going to the same Giant or Wegmans and grabbing the same pouty sugar. What you're going to say is, when somebody has a price objection, you can reason with them without casting a shadow on your competitor and say, hey, ingredients is very valuable to me. I've been doing this for 10 years. My skill set's very dialed and I can absolutely nail what you want. Yeah. Should we sprinkle some luster dust on there too and make it gold?
So it's knowing your cost. Your pricing is not a feeling.
No.
You don't wake up and feel your price.
And the objection shouldn't create a feeling. It should create a challenge, challenge.
They're saying they're saying yes to their budget and no to your price. They're not saying they don't like you.
What I wager when we're talking about something as extra as cookies is they're saying no to your price at your current pitch. So you can do this. You can either increase your value pitch or you can decrease your cost by making smaller cookies. You already got them. You've already expended the money and time and effort and labor in marketing to get them to knock at your door. You were so close to getting them to tap that soccer ball into the goal. All you have to do is make it worth it. And you can do that by, hey, I can actually do all these great things. Or what if we work for a more simplistic design? It can shrink the cookie size by just a little bit. You won't even notice a difference. However, it'll save me an ingredients cost, which I can pass on to you.
How are we shrinking the cookie size if we have the cookie cutters already?
Well, you have to pretend we didn't. I'm not even talking about the cookie thing. Right. Wow.
Sorry, I'm back to our case one.
So what's your, if you could give one tip?
One tip.
One tipless tip.
One tipless top. Don't guess.
It's
not a guessing game. Fixed cost or fixed cost. Mm-hmm. Never been able to pay a cookie to Novec, the power company.
They don't.
They don't take it as payment. So because of that, I will need to charge accordingly
Yeah.
for pricing.
Yeah, I was telling Corey, you can make more money by spending less money or by selling more. There's two ways to take that. And by spending less money, what can you do? Order in bulk, sell more to a single person instead of a few
No
to many
custom
people.
cutters, just plaque
No custom
usage.
cutters. You
Mixing
can.
your colors versus buying specialty ones.
Yeah, don't get goodie bags if that's cutting into your market. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of ratios here. But at the end, as long as everything creates a profitable company, you can still have profit at 1%. That's razor thin, or you can do a healthy 20%. In which case, you're going to be able to do that emergency fund and maybe save for things that streamline your process, like a Bosch mixer and Eddy, things like that. That's how you're going to have a really healthy, long-standing actual business and not an expensive hobby.
Yeah. And you might be like, well, how do I know what my recipe costs? There's Cake Cost.
That one looks pretty neat. Pretty net.
Cake Cost.
That's pretty net.
There's some other recipe ones. If you just Google free recipe costing applications on Google, you can get that and you can start costing out what your ingredients are. And ingredients are ever flowing. Butter is expensive. Eggs are now expensive. So you have to take and translate that into your pricing. And they'll be like, oh, well, time. If you don't have time to do it, just know that you're leaving money on the table or taking it out of your own pocket. And if you know
You can do this all in Excel.
you can.
You can do this all in Excel.
You can. Heather loves her in Excel.
It just helps.
It just
It's a visualization of where my money's going. All right, YNAB, you need a budget.com. It's not free. You get like a 34-day trial. It literally included a
how to budget for wine.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take us to the Cook College.
Let's start at the Vendy Blendy, of which the Cookie College is a participant.
All right, take us
So,
to the old Ven Blend.
This will be the lowest price ever, forever, of the Cookie College. The way we did this is if you sign up for the Cookie College for the year up front, not only do you get the immediate 2 months free, so saving $68 plus, you actually get 3 months free if you sign up on the Vendy Blendy Day. If you're like, Heather, I'm interested in joining, I don't want to sign up for the year, you can always sign up for just $68 a month. Cancel whenever, no obligation. It cancels at the end of your billing period, which is every 30 days. However, we have been doing the Cookie College for over a year now. That's over a year's worth of freebie photos, courses, digital downloads. There's a lot. The number one complaint of the Cookie College is there's too much here. So you capitalize on but we're constantly adding new things. And I think it is awesome. What is the Cookie College? It is basically marketing optimization and business management courses geared toward making you profitable. Making bakers profitable. People say, well, I bake things that aren't cookies. Well, hey, I don't bake cookies at all, but I can sit down and talk to you about business strategy optimization. A lot of it is about time management. I really like saving time. Time is, you'll never guess.
Money.
And if we save time, we can make more money. Essentially, it's one of those things you can move about a bit.
Yeah.
That's why Eddy is a upfront cost at a long-term payback in the time saved. Because if I've seen Corey complain about anything, it's about corporate logo cookies. So we have the Vendy Blendy is on Thursday, which is crazy because I felt like this is like
on Thursday, you crazy old
Friday.
man.
Oh, good. I got a whole other day. The Vendy Blendy is on Friday, Eastern Standard Time. If you're saying, hey, I am not in the U.S., I have actually gotten every vendor to tell me where they're shipping to, where they're willing to ship to, more worldwide than I thought.
Did you post that yet?
No, I'm going to have it pinned in the group for the Vendor Blender. The Vendor Blender starts on Friday, the 25th.
Can you post it before that so we can be enticed and know exactly what shops we need to shop
You're
at?
rushing me. I haven't even announced all the vendies. I'm working on it. I cannot sleep tonight. On my birthday. I will see myself turn 34.
Before you feel bad for Heather, I gave her her own little birthday party last night.
It was very fun. Corey tells me, Corey posted a video of me. I look like I'm about to jumpstart a car because that's what she said. She said, Heather, I'm having car problems. Of course, she just got a brand new battery a week ago. So I said, well, that's problematic at best, but I'm on my way. I'm at Tyson's, the mall. Can you just meet me? I'll pay for dinner. We come in and Corey's actually showered. I'm not.
I did.
I look like I got back from a 5-mile walk, which I did. You know where you're like snot nose eye thing? Yeah. Walk in and there's a balloon in my twin sister and Summer, my little sister.
Is I hired a local baker to make her cake.
That it was delicious.
It was delicious.
I ate I just ate so much icing.
I got Heather these cake balls, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take these home." I was like, "No, I'm gonna
He
take
took
them
my
home
birthday.
for myself."
Did Archer time? I had
Oh
they were
yeah,
delectable.
we had a cake ball party.
Who'd you order it from?
I got it from Cookies and Calligraphy.
Thank
She
you.
lives right over, just down the road away, by Wheelie. What area is that?
Wheelie Avenue?
Yeah,
I feel like it's Fairfax. We said Sterling Herndon.
it felt
Centerville?
like over there.
Centerville? That's
was
the
on
cross.
Centerville Road.
Okay. I think that's the cross between Fairfax.
Yeah, I was off Frying Pan Road.
People, she's probably like, stop telling people my address.
Yes.
Weirdo.
I
If
couldn't
you
find the
turn
house.
right.
I could not find her house. She's like, I kept seeing your blue car pass by. Just I was yelling, but you weren't looking.
This is so funny. That was a lot of fun. Corey got me a meditation.
It is.
I would say a meditation circle.
Ball.
Yeah, this contraption that has, I think 8 meditations across, but for every like stage, you could do sleeping, relaxing, stretching. It had 8 workshops.
So it's like 200 options, and what it does is it doesn't use any like
No
lights,
app
no
either.
LED lights, no app. It
Which I
doesn't-
thought was pretty nifty because when you use a meditation app on your phone, you're also staring at your phone.
you're staring at your phone,
Yeah.
and you're more apt to
To
click
app.
on what. So what this does is, in the quietness of the night, you turn these 2 little hand dials on it.
They're very cool looking. And then there's an option for duration of time. So
It's
technically,
you only have 2. It's like
8
or
and 20.
yeah.
But I thought it was a pretty nifty thing. And also it's quite got a speaker on it.
I cannot wait to see here it goes. If you
Oh, I'll
want
bring it
this
up down.
one. Next, Heather got me.
Weird, like a stressalizer is what I call it.
It's a breathalyzer for your stress.
So if you, I really like the Andrew Huberman podcast. The guy's like, if you know him and if he's single, tell him I am too. And I love him. Anyways, he says, and if you see any of the meditation apps, that breath work is a really great way to lower cortisol very quickly. So Corey's been working under stress. 33 and free. We said 34 is no more.
Yeah.
We've got to completely get rid of
I
it.
didn't get rid of it in 33. We had to cover till 34.
And this little thing is you breathe into it and it's just breath
times
control.
your breath. So
It's not like understanding the molecules in your mouth.
It's forcing you to breathe slowly
3
and
minutes.
deliberately.
3 minutes of breath work, and it has a light to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth into this contraption, and then your breath hits this scent plate.
Yes.
And puffs peppermint back in your face.
So you're breathing in peppermint, which is a relaxer, a mood relaxer.
Yeah.
And then you're breathing out very slowly till these 3 lights come on.
And for 3 minutes, that will, if you've ever seen anyone that talks about stress management, the fastest way to lower your stress is to breathe. A lot of times, if you pay attention to what's happening when you're stressed, is have very short breaths.
Yes. Your heart rate is higher, elevated.
And you're like, very nasally breaths. But if you breathe in through your nose deeply and breathe out through your mouth in a slow, processed way, you're actually going to be a lot calmer at the end and think more clearly.
Yeah. So it's almost like, it looks like an inhaler.
It does.
And you can bring it in your pocket. It has a little satchel.
It does.
With you. And a little cap so that little minty thing stays minty.
I don't know. It was a weird gift. I gave Corey the receipt so she could return it if she wanted.
Knew what we'd got each other. And I said, tell me what Heather got me. He's like, I can't, but you both are very weird and it fits right in.
His face, and I said, oh, I got him. He's like, okay. You guys do what you
You
do.
guys keep on going.
34 is a weird year.
Okay,
But
go into your vending blade. I'm so sorry.
Oh, so the Vendy Blendy starts this Friday at 12 a.m. That will be Eastern Standard Time. So New York, if you're looking for one of those converters. And what happens is at midnight, I'm going to open the doors. All these vendors are offering 20% or more. And the only requirement that they have is they've got to keep it up for 24 hours. And then after that, everything ends.
Yes.
So the Vendy Blendy operates in a Facebook group. But currently, you can only pendy for the Vendy Blendy. So request a group. You will not get in until November 25th at 12 a.m. Corey will be up.
Yeah, with my breathalyzer. My
Okay.
stress
You'll be awake. We got to click accept a lot.
I know, except for I tried to get in there this morning. It would not load the...
Yikers. I have PTSD. Because people will be like, I
You
am
wanna borrow my
in it.
stress out? My stress
Yeah, I
out?
think I'm going to need 2 of them. I need peppermint and lavender. And then anyway, throughout the day, the vendors themselves will be making posts if you want to see a demonstration. A lot of these vendors have been stocking up their shop. So I encourage you to snag a deal. In fact, you know what I did? I created, like I said last time, I created a spreadsheet. This has been Black Week. If you guys have noticed, because a lot of these major companies haven't had the sales that they want as the economy turns, they've increased Black Friday to be a cyber
Oh,
week.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I had signed up for the email list of all these places I
Yeah.
wanted to buy these Christmas gifts from. I'm a deal hunter.
You are a
Give
deal
me a
hunter.
discount. So anyways, I bought them all. So you guys are going to be able to do that. And fun stuff, there's door prizes throughout the day. One of those being
This is the
an
Eddie, the edible printer.
So Corey said, Heather, stop making it so complicated and just let them go follow the SEM account on Instagram and comment in a pin thread done. If you already follow Instagram,
you can just say done.
you can just say done. You are included. We will pick from that comments section in that group.
Yeah.
And then we will announce it back in the main group the next day because we got to leave it up for
We're
24
leaving
hours.
up 24
So there's
hours.
no excuse that you had to take a turkey-induced nap. You can wake up
Heather
and
gave us some like PTSD when she's like, you have 1 hour, 2:22 to 3:22.
what was the 222 second birthday bath?
Yeah, that was insanity.
That was the last Eddie giveaway. This
People
one
are
will
like,
be,
I'm going to be in class. I'll have to step out and pretend I'm taking
you know,
a
if you
potty break."
wanted it, you would. If you wanted it, you would. So that will be this Friday. I can't wait to not talk about the Vendy Blendy ever again until next year. But I think it'll be exciting.
I know.
Day. We actually had
I
a
know.
vendor
I'm
just
gonna be
sign
buying
up.
some stuff, so brace yourself. I'm
What are you
charging
buying?
it to the company card.
What are you buying?
Some cookie cutters.
Okay.
I was going to. Someone is selling the sweetest tier stencil holder, which I do already have. But if you were thinking about how you want to streamline your PYOs, that stencil holder, she said she's going to have them. They're going to be discounted, but she has limited
Yikers.
supplies.
They're going to sell. Actually, I just wanted Kelly Elliott. She said, Heather, I would like to join the Vendy Blendy. I understand that I have missed every promo option ever, but she's like, better late than never. I know you girls are constantly saying doing it. She's launched her Etsy store at 20% off. She's going to be doing edible images in 3-inch circles, 2.05 by 2.75 rectangles, and edible images are best known for Polaroid picture cookies and custom logo cookies. So I'll have to see more about what she's offering. The shop name is Aunt Keys Cookies, and she's doing 20% off. So that'll be fun.
Noise.
And I'll add her to the list. I've got to post up the recipes.
I would just post them.
It's hard to make the little graphics.
Okay, you're right.
I don't think that people really like the graphics, really.
You know,
What?
it's
No?
a lot of reading on them.
Hey, you know what?
enjoy
You
them.
know what I can call you out on? There's no more thankful posts.
Continuing on with
Corey, you
I got
ran.
busy, man.
What are you thankful for
I'm
today?
thankful for you.
Okay, I'll let you on. So that will be the Vendy Blendy. I
And
think
we'll
it'll be
posting
exciting.
about it for the rest of the week. So
Apparently, endlessly. I've got a lot of posts to make.
we got a lot of posts to make.
Yeah, the Parnells are doing Sugar Dash Co. She was like, "Are you gonna give us stuff to promote this with? Come on, come on!" So I gotta send them out, and then I gotta get them in the group.
Yeah.
I gotta get the vendors in the group, got them tagged as group experts, so that way we can improve their posts because they'll be the only ones allowed to post that day.
All right. Okay. Take us on to the next. Do we have any voicemail? Did anyone text us the rest of it?
Goodness, you didn't
Gosh,
check the mailbag.
darn.
They even said you're not
No
going to
one
check
told
the
me
mailbag.
to check.
Corey, you
the
said write us
mailbag.
a card.
If anyone didn't know, it's also Jamie Lee Curtis's birthday today.
I love her yogurt
That is
and her acting. Come on, get off your phone and talk.
Oh,
while
I
look
was
this
okay.
up.
Yeah, happy birthdays. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Corey, you're gonna have to do more than that. What if there's nothing here? Yikers! Happy birthday to my favorite twins. No favorites here. Sorry, Amanda at Sweet Faith Bakes.
Thank you,
Hold
man.
on, that was amazing. If she's the only one, she's my new favorite. This is actually a question. You mind?
No, go ahead.
Hi, Heather and Corey. I hope you guys are well in this holiday craziness. I was just listening to the most recent podcast, and the part about Google My Business got me thinking. Google My Business is now called Google Business Profile. Sidebar. You mentioned treating it like social media. So my question is, are we actually supposed to be treating it like social media? It should be more formal than that. Like same type of content post we might be making to IG or Facebook, or is it supposed to be different? It's been in the back of my head that I'm supposed to be more active on it, but I have no idea what it should look like. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to read it.
Nobody's going to read it.
But it has an SEO factor. And the more active you are on those profiles, the more Google likes you.
Yeah, so there's two different parts. You can add photos to your listing, and that's great. It goes to the photos. People can scroll through the photos.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't just add photos to the updates portion. I would add updates like, hey, new menu item. Here's the next cookie class we're having. Hey, I had a rebrand. Hey, it's my business's birthday.
You can list events. They'll stick at the top until the event
I
passes.
think you can even list discounts.
You
if
can.
go
So the
for-
discounts go to followers? which is
Oh, I see,
something
I
that
see.
hasn't really picked up. Google switched Google My Business to Google Business Profiles and nixed their app. And now
Yeah.
you can only access it on
Through
Google
Maps.
Maps. And I think that was intentional to force business owners to be more active on the platform.
So I would say responding to all the reviews. You get a free odd website through Google.
If you don't have a website, use that one. If you do have a website, don't use that one.
I can't find it to edit it.
It's harder to get to.
cannot locate it.
I'll help you.
Okay. So you have that. If you didn't have a website linked, you could do that. You can link. Can you link your social media profiles on there?
No, I don't think so.
I know. It's always changing.
Okay, it's called a knowledge panel.
Okay.
It'll find it if it thinks you've associated them well enough.
Okay.
That's done by the bot himself.
Right.
Your job is to better associate that and to associate your profiles have the same links. Oh, we need to create a little cesspool of links.
Yeah. You can put your
branding.
menu on there.
Products,
and your menu
services.
can have pricing on there.
They've added appointment hours ish. They've added you can add a COVID update though.
You can fill it out like women owned.
Identity.
Your payment, what you can take for payment.
Yeah, it's constantly changing.
Your hours. They love when you update your hours.
Holiday hours.
Yeah,
you can say I'm taking
it's always
off this
saying
day.
like, Corey, are you gonna be working this day? And I'm like, I'm not planning. Not planning to work any day, really.
So Google My Business, definitely check it out. You can set service areas. Now, think of Google Maps. It prefers brick and mortars, and you're always going to take a second place to brick and mortars. But if you don't have a lot of competing brick and mortars, it's going to be a solid bet for leads.
Yeah.
Even if you do have competing brick and mortars, still do it.
Yeah.
It's a part of that search engine algorithm.
All my photos every week. I just
Oh, you
dump them in
do?
there.
Great job.
Every single week.
Great job. Happy birthday, twins. This is Liz from North Carolina. I just wanted to wish you both the happiest of birthdays and tell you how much you both have changed my business. I've learned so much valuable information in the main group and then in the cookie college during my time as a student. Go get those bun heinies a bun cake to celebrate. Amen, Liz. You have me. I was actually going to go to the bun cake place tomorrow.
Yeah, Heather's getting you a big bun.
A big bun. A big bun. A big bun. Okay, Corey, take us to the sponsors because they keep this going.
The sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be around here. But we want to give a shout out to AE Court backers. First off, AE Court is going to be a part of the vendor blender on Friday. They always are offering anyone in Trigger Cookie Marketing 20% off using the code SUGARCOOKIE, not plural at checkout, but on Friday. They will be offering 30% off.
She's in the Vendy Blendy.
She's in the Vendy Blendy. The thing is, she will sell out. She
will.
She's
going to sell out at the primaries, but she's a lot more now than last year.
She prepped all year.
Yeah, but a lot more like color range.
Different colors. Yeah. Like she has like a vibrant set.
I wouldn't sleep on the vibrant set. I think those are pop.
So there's lemon. We have the green.
Apricot.
They have a dark purple, apricot, dark red.
Is it apricot or apricot?
Apricot
depends if you're middle class or lower.
Apricot.
Apricot.
So definitely AE Core backers. It's food safe. It's matte. So that means it's not going to shine back into your lens and create an ugly glare.
It's hard to Photoshop out.
It is.
Lens glare.
It's scratch resistant. It's waterproof. You can pour chocolate syrup right on there.
Bead proof?
Are we, as any of us? I love putting my beads on there. What else is it?
Apparently, it'll file your taxes for you after the sale.
Yeah, okay.
Next sponsor is Eddie. Yes, he is also the giveaway. Eddie's in a direct-to-food printer. If that sounds insane, it only is because it is. And that's why he is so neat. I guess the best way to describe what he does is take your airbrush and imagine that happens in 10 seconds.
On your JB, you can do videos now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very nice. We got to change your name to get rid of the formerly, right?
Yeah, not yet.
We were supposed to talk about rebranding on the podcast coming up.
Gosh darn.
But Eddie, Primera is the company who creates Eddie. It's a printer. He knows his worth. He's $3,000.
Yeah.
So you could win an Eddie during the Vendy Blendy. And that's because you got to thank all those Vendys. They paid into giving that away. So congrats to them for taking an investment. It's now our job to make sure it's profitable.
Yeah.
And it's your guys' job to spend money so it is. And then somebody is going to get an Eddie, which ships internationally. So
I think how many people are pending for the Vendy? 4,000?
It's over 4,000. It was 4,000 when I made a hilarious
I'll say
meme
our last sponsor is Royal Batch. It is a meringue powder made by a company called Bakety Bake. The Royal Batch is my favorite. Do not sell her out. I will hate you. It already has 3 ingredients in it, which is corn syrup, vanilla extract, and white food coloring. So you save on those 3. Talk about knowing your product costs, my friends. Meringue powder is part of that. So you can order.
Another way you can fudge the numbers, getting discounts on ingredients costs.
Because you can use the code TWINS at checkout and
you
save
go.
10%.
There
She
you
ships
go.
United States and Canada now, folks. So try it. Buy it. I don't know the last thing to rhyme with that.
Don't cry
Don't
over
cry
it.
in it.
Yeah. It's going to be an additional
ruin your
ingredients cost.
consistency.
So that takes us through the podcast. Thank you guys so much for texting in. If you mailed a card in, Corey didn't check it, but
I
it will
will.
make next week even more exciting.
And all those people who took the time out of their days to comment.
You know
today.
what? I said, so Corey usually mopes this entire month.
I do.
She really does. And she was like, nobody cares about a birthday. I said, nobody cares about you after 25.
True.
But I gotta say, Corey, I saw her today. We met at Olive Garden, obviously. And I said, if you aren't overwhelmed
Oh,
by the
loved.
outpouring of just great jokes, fun people, good vibes, uppers in that
Yeah.
group,
I
of 'em
feel loved. I feel cherished. I feel
seen
appreciated.
and understood.
That's what others' boyfriend said.
Ex-boyfriend.
Killing.
He was misunderstood, and I made sure he understood.
But thank you guys so much. It truly, and this is our
gonna
Thanksgiving
cry?
podcast. I'm trying not to. Me and Heather will sit and talk to each other and be like, I cannot believe that we are lucky enough to get to be involved in so many people's lives.
Isn't it crazy?
It is so I stand in awe of it.
Stand in awe.
I do not take it lightly. Your success is truly my success. When you're doing the little jig in your kitchen, I am too doing the jig in my kitchen.
When you're doing the
Were
little
you?
the cry in the kitchen.
We're crying as well. We love to help you. We love that you are open to us helping you.
Yeah, that's half the battle, man. It's hard to get critiqued. It's hard to put yourself out there and say, I think I tried too little. Please help me. It's hard to say, I'm not sure if this photo looks good, but I tried my best.
Best part is I'm learning from you guys.
Yeah.
I've learned so many things.
Just the power of this many people giving this much experience has allowed us to create a lot of data points and kind of make adjustments, even in our own business, to say that's a better idea.
For sure. And just the graciousness and the camaraderie. Really, I honestly did not know the baking community was so tenderhearted and just willing to lift up each other.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to be a solopreneur. It's lonely.
Yeah.
You can get into your feels. You can get into your mind. You can feel like
That's
nobody
self-doubt
cares.
screaming. You're charging too much. That's why no one's buying from you. You're not that good.
Yeah, but then you can come into the group like Sugar Cookie Marketing and be like, hey guys, just want to bounce this off of people who've maybe been in the industry a little longer. Am I off base here? Is my price a little?
Sugar Cookie Marketing Group is 37,000 of your coworkers.
Yeah.
And then we have the water cooler, and we have the business meetings, and we have the classes and the trainings, and we have the
threads.
work.
Yeah. It's just that you allow us in your life, that you take the time to listen to us giggle and mumble each week. It is humbling, but we are so grateful and thankful. And I will say, definitely blessed.
Good.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag.
Hashtag thankful.
Hashtag Stormy.
But thank you guys for putting up with us each week. If no one has said it to you, we are thankful for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, there your thankful prom came back in.
Eat a slime pies for me. A slime pie. What's the right
High slime.
I gotta go.
Bye, guys.